What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today's video, I want to talk about something that I've noticed recently on a lot of social media, and that is going to be registered dietitians that are really in the camp of intuitive eating, sharing their opinions on that. And I just kind of wanted to talk about how I feel about how some of these registered dietitians are going about sharing their ideology. Now, before we get into the topic, again, I want to remind you guys, I do have a podcast that I would love for you to check out. It's called Work for Change. I do it with my brother. We have a lot of really cool interviews. We talk about a lot of topics that I'll talk about here on video, but it's just a longer format. So if you do like these types of videos, you will really like the podcast. I have a YouTube link down there. Also, if you search Work for Change on pretty much any podcast platform, it'll pop up. So thanks again so much, you guys, for supporting it. I really, really appreciate it. Now, before we get into this, I do want to make it very clear that I do believe that most of the people that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and most of the people that share what they believe, they do it because they're trying to come from a place of being helpful. They're not trying to be hurtful. And I want to make that very clear. So I don't want anyone to think that this video is me trying to attack anyone. But again, it's just me sharing my thoughts as to why I think maybe the way that they are explaining how they feel is not as beneficial as maybe they might believe. So when it comes to intuitive eating, this is an eating style that has become very, very popular, and it's actually, surprise, surprise, it's the way that I eat. So I am not at all against intuitive eating because this is how I eat. I don't sit there and track all of my meals anymore. I am able to understand what my body needs, and I fuel myself accordingly. But that being said, I understand that getting to the point where I am now was a massive struggle, and it took a lot of trial and error to get here. I do believe that anybody can get to what I've gotten to and that they can eat intuitively, but I do believe that it is a process, and there are certain steps that maybe different people are going to have to take to get to where I am now. But intuitive eating is just eating in a way where you're not tracking, you're not obsessing over food, you're able to understand, okay, this is what my body needs to perform, this is what I feel like my body wants to have, and if you don't have any super disordered eating, habits that might be going on, you can do that and see success with that. Now, intuitive eating is a very, very popular eating style when it comes to a lot of RDs or registered dietitians that are against diet culture, that really do not like the whole before and after thing. They don't like tracking any food. They are very much against anything that could be thought of as a diet. So this first post that I want to read, it says this: weight loss in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's intentional weight loss that I won't promote. And then going on in the caption, it says, because there seems to be confusion, weight loss in and of itself is not a bad thing. If you lose weight as a result of listening to your body and adapting healthy habits, there's nothing wrong with that. And if your healthy habits do not result in weight loss, there's also nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong or that those behaviors are not beneficial. I would say I pretty much agree with all of that right there. I don't want you to feel ashamed for losing weight or even wanting to lose weight. We're all immersed in diet culture. It's hard to not desire weight loss. But with what I've learned about intentional weight loss, it's no longer something I can support. And now this is where I start to disagree. I think that a lot of times when it comes to these registered dietitians or these people that are very huge proponents of intuitive eating, they seem to maybe forget about the people that truly have disordered eating problems or are food addicts. It seems like these people just think everyone is maybe just always struggling with trying to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds. And it's really frustrating to me because I come from being morbidly obese, and my intuitive eating was literally killing me on a day-to-day basis. If you're just pursuing weight loss, you can make some really bad decisions. But if you, just because you're focused on your weight, that isn't in and of itself this terrible thing that is like the end of the world. If you are 200 pounds overweight, focusing on your weight a little bit, I don't think is that big of a deal. Not everyone agrees on the exact numbers, but several studies have found that intentional weight loss is not sustainable beyond 2 to 5 years for 90 to 98% of participants. Intentional weight loss results not only in gaining the weight back for the majority of people, but 2 out of 3 gain back more. Intentional weight loss also leads to weight cycling for many, weight yo-yoing up and down, which has also been linked to negative health outcomes. Intentional weight loss is not the cure-all for every ailment it's often touted, and it's not the secret to more confidence or better body image. Finally, intentional weight loss can impede our health by putting the focus on restrictive behaviors that are more likely to result in weight loss rather than on nourishing behaviors that take into account what our bodies need. I do agree that most people, when they go on diets, they are going on these crazy restrictive diets that I don't think they need to do either. I think people need to focus on, again, having those healthy habits, finding something that's sustainable. Sustainability has been my favorite word for years now because that is very, very important. But again, I think these people, they take it too far and they make it this black and white situation when there's a lot of gray in between. Also, I do agree that a lot of people, especially with a lot of how these diets have been touted and have been marketed as, is that losing weight will solve all your problems. I just recently made a video that talked about the 3 things that losing weight actually didn't solve at all. So I think it is very important that more people do talk about how, losing weight, maybe it improved their health, but it's not like it's going to be this cure-all that's going to solve every problem that you might have. So no, I am not anti-weight loss or anti-health, but I am against pursuing intentional weight loss and won't promote it. I'm against fat phobia and the notion that thinner is always better. I'm against diet culture promoting weight loss as the key to better health and a better life. I'm against the suffering that people put themselves through in order to shrink their bodies because they've been told all their lives that this is a worthy pursuit, and it's their duty to keep their body in check. I don't want to shame you for losing weight or wanting to, but I refuse to promote the pursuit of weight loss. Now, at the end of this post, they bring up fat phobia. And again, I don't understand why someone wanting to lose weight or feeling that they need to lose weight for their health is a fat phobic notion, or those have anything to do with each other. I completely disagree with that because, again, I was 360 pounds and I don't believe it was fat phobic of me to want to lose weight to better my life and eventually, hopefully, live a much longer life. This next post says, so many of the people selling the idea that weight loss is the secret to living your happiest, healthiest life are so deep into disordered eating that they don't even see it. So just taking that post at face value, I can say that there absolutely are definitely some people out there that have lost a lot of weight that are now big influencers that are really struggling with their relationship with food. So again, there are points in this post that I do agree with. Then she goes on to say, I know this because I was one of them. I was coached to sell my story, how sad my life was before my transformation, and how amazing it was after I lost the weight. I told a great story, and I had the before and after pics to back it up. I never felt like I was being dishonest. I just didn't recognize how deep I was into my obsession with food, fitness, and thinness until I started to recover from the disordered eating that developed when I made selling thinness my job. I didn't see that my life had started to revolve around calories, macros, and pounds, and I viewed my growing obsession as merely dedication to a healthier life. I also had no idea how much fat phobia was wrapped up in both my transformation photos and the story that accompanied them. Again, we are linking transformation pictures, before and after photos, with fat phobia. I mean, I'm sure that there are some people that you might be able to say are fat phobic with the way that they post before and afters. But I think linking or lumping everyone together that posts before and afters, that posts their progress, how excited they are to have lost weight, especially if you're someone that is coming from, again, morbid obesity. I know I bring that up a lot, but again, I don't think these people that are posting this stuff really understand how much of a prison you are in when you are morbidly obese and the amount that you can move is very limited, the amount that you can do in your life is very limited. The fact that you might be thinking to yourself, my life is going to end very early and it's because of my size. I really don't think the people that post these things are thinking about those people. And for me, I am always going to think about those people because I was one of them. I don't believe that everyone who's trying to sell you weight loss and the supposed perfect life that comes along with a thinner body is an evil agent of diet culture out to make you hate yourself. But I see how so many people have bought into the lies that diet culture perpetuates that they don't see how disordered and fat phobic their behaviors are. Be careful who you look up to and take advice from online and elsewhere in your life. Looking the part of what we consider to be healthy and fit does not mean that someone's habits are healthy at all. And it's very likely that they might not even realize how disordered their habits have become. Now, again, there are parts with that I do agree. I think especially with Instagram, most people are posting their highlight reel. So you might be following people that you think are super healthy and fit and doing everything right, but in the background, they are really struggling with some disordered eating. They're really struggling with just really unhealthy habits that they're not maybe posting about. So I do agree that there are definitely some people online that might not be the best to be following. Now, the next person we're going to be talking about is Abbey Sharp. She is a YouTuber, and she is actually a registered dietitian as well. She has a whole series on her channel where she reacts to full day of eatings and gives her opinions and her thoughts. She recently did one on Gabby Hanna, and a couple people have sent me this and wanted me to maybe share my thoughts on it. Her video is about 40 minutes long, so we're not going to go into in depth about every single thing. But again, here at the very start, she is talking about how Gabby is basically immersed in diet culture.
Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. So today's What I Eat in a Day YouTuber review is of Gabby Hanna.
That the most frustrating and honestly sometimes heartbreaking thing when it comes to weight loss is all of the conflicting advice and opinions out there. Everybody has an opinion. Some people will tell you to eat only 3 big meals a day. Some people will tell you to eat 6 small meals a day. Some people will say don't eat certain foods. Other people will say that exact same food is essential to your diet. And if you are not one of the beautiful unicorns who is blessed with a mystical genetic makeup, figuring it out can be really, really difficult, but you have to not give up. You have to not let the missteps or the backslides stop you.
So totally agree with Gabby on the fact that the all or nothing mentality is not healthy, and you need to really tune into your body's intuition to find out what feels good to you. But I just kind of wanted to flag the kind of Fitspo diet culture language that was going on there, just because I do feel like that could be triggering for some people. And I don't want people to hear that and feel like a little bit of victim blaming, like, oh, if I'm not feeling great or if I'm not at the weight that I want to be, then I'm just not trying hard enough and I've given up. So I just wanted to flag that may be problematic.
It seems like a lot of people, when they are in the camp of anti-diet culture, in the camp of intuitive eating, it's if you feel like you need to work hard, that's a bad thing and you shouldn't ever have to work hard. And I think that there is a season in your life where you might have to work pretty hard. Like when I had to lose my weight, I had to work pretty hard, but it's about learning as you are working hard and learning how to find a sustainable way to eat, find a sustainable diet, and it's not going to be easy. And I think that a lot of people that are anti-diet culture, intuitive eating, they think that it's just going to be easy for everybody, but that's not the case when you are coming from a food addiction or you're coming from other disordered eating. Now, one of the comments on her video actually made me laugh. So someone commented, when talking about eating intuitively, you greatly underestimate my body's ability to tell me to eat an entire family-sized pizza every day. And Abbey replied saying, it may at first, but once you've stopped the dichotomous thinking, those urges go away. And then somebody else replied to her and said, wow, this is a gross oversimplification. It's clear that you've never really struggled with overeating. It's great that you found something that works for you, i.e. intuitive eating, but it's not necessarily for everyone. And I think that's an incredibly perfect way to describe how a lot of these people that are huge proponents of intuitive eating and anti-diet culture, I really don't think that most of them have truly struggled with being addicted to food. Because if when I was at my heaviest, said, okay, I'm just gonna stop feeling guilty about eating bad food and I'm just gonna do it anyway, and then eventually my body will intuitively tell me to eat less or eat better, it just wouldn't have happened, because I had absolutely no knowledge about what is healthy, what wasn't healthy, what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating. And so if I just was like, well, I'll just figure out what my body intuitively tells me to eat, I was eating fast food 3 times a day. That wasn't because I was feeling guilty when I would eat fast food and then eat fast food again. It was because I had absolutely no knowledge about nutrition or anything like that. I think one of the most important things when it comes to being able to eat intuitively, and again, this is how I eat, is having the knowledge about what's in certain types of foods, the amount of calories that might be in certain oils and liquid calories, and understanding maybe what you should be avoiding when you put a dressing on your salad. You know, is this dressing have like 50 grams of fat, or is it maybe a lower fat dressing? Like, understanding those things are really important if you're going to use intuitive eating, so you're not overeating all the time. And I think that is one of the things that most people seem to forget, especially when they're a registered dietitian, probably because they have a really healthy relationship with food and they know what's in most different foods. But if you look at the regular American diet, someone that is, dieting or maybe doesn't understand food, they're not going to have that knowledge. So to just tell them, oh, just eat intuitively and you'll be fine, I think that, again, that's a gross oversimplification of what it really takes to be able to you eat intuitively and stay in a calorie range that's not going to be putting on fat over the years. So again, to wrap it up, I think that intuitive eating is great, and I really think that for a lot of people it can be very useful. But I think that it is very important to understand it does take a while to get there. And if you're not there right now and you're still trying to track your calories, you're still trying to track your macros, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that you're toxic. I don't think that you're fat phobic. I don't think that you're stuck in diet culture and you'll never be able to get out of it. I think that it is an important tool to learn, to understand how to track food, to understand what is in certain types of food, what to maybe avoid, what maybe works for you. I don't think that there's anything wrong and that you're a toxic person for partaking in tracking certain macros or calories. But again, that is just my opinion. I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There's one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.